Okay, so we're ready to can this ham. And this bowl here and this little bowl, that's all the pieces that are sliced, okay? On a spiral ham, you have more than half of it is sliced for you, and then you have a good portion that is not sliced, and that's what I cut into chunks. And this right here, this is waste. So, but it's not gonna go to waste. This is gonna go out to the chickens, and yes, they will love it. So I'm gonna set that right there. Now it's just the parts that were too fatty or, I don't know, gristly, I went ahead and cut it off. So in each jar, I'm gonna go ahead and put a 1/4 teaspoon of herbs de Provence. And I do this because it really lends a delicious flavor to ham. And then the onions, I was only gonna put 1 or 2, but I think I'm gonna do 3. So we're gonna do 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. And hopefully we'll have enough. Maybe 2 is plenty. So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, we'll have enough. Some of them might only have 2. So, and we've got our hot ham stock, and this is a ham base, like almost like the Better Than Bouillon base that you get. And I'm gonna go ahead and pack my jars. How easy is this? Now, I'm using a collapsible funnel. This is also a ball product, and it works really, really well. So you wanna get your chunks in there, and you're going to top it off with your hot broth. And this is gonna pressure can for 90 minutes. Now, if this were, even though this ham is cold, it's gonna heat it up enough, and the canner is on the stove. It's warm, but it's not hot. So, we'll set that aside. It's not hot. Now you wanna pack these to 1 inch of headspace, and sometimes you just have to take your funnel off and do it. I try not to overpack. Now, if I was doing these in pint jars, I'd be going, oh, that's not enough meat. But because I'm doing it in quarts, I don't have to pack these so tight. I can't keep this submerged in the broth, because you want your meats to stay under the broth. You end up with a prettier product. And we'll go ahead with, oh nice, I just christened my mat. Whatever I put under here, I christen it every single time. If you do that, leave me a comment, because I don't know anybody that doesn't. I try really hard, and I set out with good intentions, but this mat washes up real good. It's a cute canning jar mat, and it's nice to be able to set your canning jars. Now we're going to 1 inch of headspace, which is right below that bottom lip. And you really want to stay right there. If you overfill your jars, you're going to end up sorry, because you'll have liquid siphon out of there, and it won't be good. And then you want to go ahead and debubble. And your headspace may change if there was bubbles in there, and mine did. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more. And why is it important to have that headspace? Well, siphoning, because the food has to have room to expand in the jar and expel the air. And we've got our lids and rings ready to go. I only have 1 Tattler that I'm going to use today, but before you do that, you have to wipe the rim of your jar. I almost forgot. And I have hot vinegar water there, and I'll put that water in the canner when I get ready to put the lid on. So center your hot lid on your now hot jar. I mean, these jars were warm, but not screaming hot, because I was putting cold meat in there. You don't want to shock them with temperature. And now I was going to use that. Let's go ahead and use the tool. So you get it to where it starts that resistance. You put your tool on, there's 2 arrows, and they're mismatched to begin with. Get that on, and you turn until they match up. As soon as you get that, you're good to go. And you pull that off. Now, we are ready to put this in the canner. I'll bring you in close and load another jar. Whew, look at that. I'm excited. I hope it comes out as good as I think it will. I'm really hoping that we don't have bad results. Now, that chicken base has just a really good flavor on its own. So you're ready to go if you want to do a soup or a casserole. So guys, right, the canner has come down off of pressure, and what I've done is when I knew it was totally down off of pressure and I took the weight off and no steam came out, I then went ahead and undid all my thumb screws and let the lid kind of be cockeyed on here to acclimate the jars a little bit, because we have 100-degree temperatures outside, so we've got our air conditioner running, and I don't want to thermal shock my jars, even though usually it's at the same temperature in here. And I think that you get less siphoning that way. We're gonna see if I'm right or if I'm wrong, so it's kind of a little bit of a test for you guys. And so I just let it sit like this for 5 minutes. Now I'm ready to take this lid off, and I'm excited to see how this comes out. I can't wait to use a recipe in this with this. Oh, look, and we have a Tattler lid. So that Tattler's coming out first and foremost. Ooh, and it looks fantastic. I think our Headspace is absolutely perfect. Now, I don't know. Everything is still expanded, but if you've had too much thermal shock from letting that canner come down off of pressure, and you hear that, that's another pinging. Or you've had any kind of thermal shock, not shock, but thermal changes that are too rapid will cause siphoning of the liquid out of your jars. And a lot of us struggle with that. And so as I play with this a little bit and figure out what really works, I'm excited. This looks great. Now, it's going to come down because, again, everything's expanded. So you have to, when you have a Tattler lid, and these are the older lids, they have the Easy Seal lids, and then they have the older lids, and I have the older lids, which I really like. I think they work just the same. So you're going to grab and tighten it all the way down. You just snug it up. Now, if you ever hear this hissing or spitting at you, don't touch it. It's not worth it. And 9 times out of 10, it seals anyway. And this one is kind of bubbled up a little bit, where you would see a buckled jar lid, but it's not buckled. That's just what Tattlers do. And it will suck back down. So as this cools, it's going to create a vacuum in the jar, and you're going to get that seal. And so, oh, it's great. Now remember, don't tip your jars. If you have water sitting on top of your lids, leave it alone. It's going to evaporate as those jars cool, and these are still boiling in the jars. Because if you tip your jars, you're going to actually, because the lid hasn't sealed yet, it still has play there. It can come up off the rim of your jar, and then you could get oil on there, or food even, a little piece of, a sliver of ham, and that could stop your jar from sealing. So try to be conscious of that. And my water looks absolutely fantastic. Not completely clear, but it certainly looks great. And you'll notice as it goes through the canning session, your jar lids loosen up. Don't crank on them, just leave them alone. That's what they do. And fantastic. I'm so excited for this. Let me show you a jar up close, and so you can see. So it's still bubbling away in there. Everything's still moving and grooving. Now I've got the onion down at the bottom, and then up at the top there's an onion, and you hear the pinging of the jars. So hopefully this is everything that we hoped for this canning session. If it's a fail, it's a pretty inexpensive fail, but I don't think it will be. I'm putting my bets out there right now. If you guys have canned ham, please leave us a comment and share with my viewers on how your canning session went and the results. And then the other tip I'm going to give you in this video, when you're grabbing your jars out, and I mean we've got boiling liquid in there, You know where that Headspace ring is, the bottom ring? Make sure that this is underneath that. Don't try to grab it on your metal ring. Your metal rings loosen up, and I've seen people actually, the ring comes off, the lid flies off, you have hot everything all over your kitchen, and you could get burned. Don't do that. So grab underneath the rim of your jar, right here, underneath there, and you'll be fine. All right, so we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts and 3 1.5 pint jars of canned ham in broth, and I'm excited to have this on the shelf. The reason I'm excited about this is I can pop this open. It's already been seasoned. I can make a thicken it and do this over biscuits, make a gravy out of it and have ham and biscuits, or make a breakfast hash. There's tons of things, and this represents 7, well, probably closer to 14 meals for Michael and I, or if we have company, certainly a meal in a jar is ready to be created, and I don't have to think about it, and I didn't waste that ham, and it's not going to get freezer burnt in my freezer, which is great. And if the electricity goes out, it doesn't get wasted, because be sure and always check your freezers like daily that they haven't failed on you. We had a freezer fail one year. It was a nightmare, and so I'm really diligent about every day just going, taking a peek. Yep, it's still frozen, everything's still good, because it's not worth losing your stuff. And if the power goes out, you're gonna have to can a lot. So we have this, and if you guys want to see some outdoor canning this summer, we've got our my Camp Chef that I got for Christmas. We've got that out there, and I can actually can with the All-American canner. Now, you wouldn't want to do that with a Presto canner out there. I know people do it, but it's not recommended. And if it's not recommended, there's a reason for it. Your temperatures and the construction of the canner, it all comes into play, and so follow the manufacturer's instructions. And I'm going to bring you along for when I use the first jar. I will definitely do a video for you and make sure you know my honest opinion and how I like it. It looks beautiful. It really looks just like when I canned it, because the stock was that amber color, and it may have darkened a little bit, but not much. So, and with the onions in there, everything in this jar only costs 99 cents a pound. And it's going to be the main protein for this meal and flavoring. I can't ask for anything more. So if you like these kind of videos, I certainly hope you give me a thumbs up, share it on your Facebook page and your other social media, and come back next time if you're not a subscriber. I hope you subscribe. We're going to have another subscriber contest coming up when I hit that next 5,000 mark and get to 85,000 subscribers. And guys, go over and visit my Facebook page. I've got the links below. I'll have a link to the All-American Canner in the link below, and my wish list is still got the smaller canner. I really want the 10.5 canner. I'm about halfway there financially. It's not something that I'm going to put in the family budget, because it's not a need, but it's a real want, because I'd like to do some smaller batch canning for the people that really want smaller batch canning. And even Michael and I, there's some recipes I don't want 7 or 8 jars of it, but I hate running a canner load partially full. And sometimes lugging this thing around, it's just heavy. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe, and I hope it inspires you to jump into home canning. Save yourself some money. 99 cents a pound. You can't get that. Regular price on this ham was $3.29. So I stole it and canned it, and now we have it for next time. And a year from now, maybe the prices are going to be $4.29. You don't know. So I get to put this on the shelf at today's prices or today's sale prices and save myself a lot of money. And I'm using my hands a lot.